All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving deep into the E-Myth Revisited
a classic.
by Michael E. Gerber. This is going to be good. So, you know that dream everyone has of just like ditching the 9 to 5 and being their own boss?
Yeah,
It's a pretty common one. Like a lot of people have that dream.
for sure.
But there's a problem.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
80% of small businesses fail
Oh, wow.
in the first 5 years.
Yeah, 80%.
That's a lot. It's a majority.
Most.
So that means the other 20%,
They're doing something right.
they're doing something different. So that's what this whole deep dive is about. Like, what is that secret sauce?
Yeah.
What are they doing differently? And thankfully, Gerber gives us some ideas.
He lays it all out.
He calls it the E-Myth,
The entrepreneurial myth.
which is basically, and tell me if I'm wrong,
Go for it.
the idea that just because you're good at something,
Yeah.
you're going to be good at running a business, doing that thing.
Yeah. That's it. That's the myth. You think just because you're a fantastic baker
Yeah, or
or a graphic designer,
web developer,
yeah, amazing coder,
your business is going to automatically succeed because you're so good at the craft. But
but that's not how it works, unfortunately.
not how it works. And Gerber, he uses a really great example in the book of like this amazing barista, right?
Oh, yeah, the barista.
She makes the best lattes. Everyone loves her lattes.
But that doesn't mean she knows how to run a business.
It's so true. It's like thinking that because I'm a decent cook, I can open a successful restaurant.
Exactly. You might make a mean lasagna.
Yeah, or a
But
but there's so much more to it than just the food.
there is.
Right.
Like,
Managing people, marketing,
yeah, and the money part.
the numbers.
Like, ugh. So he's saying that it's almost like there's these two different brains
Yeah.
you have to have. There's the doing the thing brain,
Right.
and then there's the running the business's brain.
And they don't always talk to each other.
Not always.
Yeah.
No.
And so Gerber actually identifies kind of 3 different personalities inside
Mm-hmm.
every entrepreneur.
The entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician.
Okay, break those down for me.
Right. So first you've got the entrepreneur. This is the big picture visionary, always thinking about the future, dreaming up new ideas.
The ideas person.
Exactly. Then you've got the manager. This personality loves order, systems, making sure everything runs smoothly.
The organizer.
The one with the spreadsheets and the to-do lists.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
And then you've got the technician. This is the one who loves to roll up their sleeves and get things done. The doer.
The one who's actually making the latte.
Yeah, or coding the website or baking the cakes, whatever the business is about.
So which of these personalities tends to be like the dominant one?
Well, that's the thing. Gerber says most small business owners are like 70% technician,
70%.
20% manager,
Okay.
and only 10% entrepreneur. They're amazing at what they do.
They're good in the craft.
But they might struggle with the bigger picture stuff, the strategy and systems that you need to actually scale the business.
Which makes a lot of sense why so many businesses don't make it. It's like, it's not enough to just be passionate and skilled.
Yeah,
You also need
the business side.
that business brain. You got to have it.
It's like a whole other skill set.
Totally separate. And to help explain this, he actually compares the stages of a business to like human development.
Interesting.
Infancy, adolescence, and maturity.
I like that analogy.
So in infancy, the business owner, like our barista, right, she's doing everything herself.
Yeah, every single task.
It's exciting,
It is.
but it's also totally exhausting.
Yeah, it's that hustle phase.
A hustle. But then comes adolescence.
Ooh, adolescence. Now we're getting into tricky territory.
Yeah, and everyone's been a teenager,
We've all been there.
and
It's messy.
it's messy. A lot of drama,
A lot of bad decisions.
impulsive choices. So is this where you think like most businesses start to kind of go off the rails?
I think so. In this phase, the barista, she's starting to hire staff,
Mm-hmm.
but she's having trouble letting go of control. She's either micromanaging everybody
Oh, I can see that.
or she's over-delegating without having any systems in place.
So it's either too much control or not enough.
Yeah, finding that balance is tough. And the quality might start to slip or customers might start complaining.
Because things aren't how they used to be.
Yeah, things are inconsistent. And it's a danger zone because the owner hasn't actually built a business. They've just built a job for themselves.
A really hard job.
Yeah, a job with a lot of hats.
So I guess the key takeaway here is like plan for the growth.
Right, from the beginning.
Don't wait.
Don't wait until you're drowning in chaos.
Right, because then it's too late.
You got to build a business that can run without you.
A business that works. That actually reminds me of something Gerber calls the turnkey revolution.
Ah, yes, the
Yeah.
turnkey revolution. It's all about creating a business that can run on autopilot, like a well-oiled machine.
So is this like the franchising model?
Kind of, yeah. Think of it like building a franchise, even if you never plan to actually franchise your business.
That's interesting.
The focus is on creating a system that works, not just working in the system.
So it's like instead of being a chef, you're creating the recipe.
Yeah, and anyone can follow that recipe and get the same results. You're not the only one who can make the dish.
Okay, so how does our barista turn her little cafe into this, like, franchise prototype thing?
Well, first, she needs to figure out what her core value is. What is she really offering to her customers? Is it the amazing coffee, the cozy atmosphere, the friendly service?
Or is it her awesome latte art?
Maybe.
It could be.
Once she knows her core value, then she needs to figure out how to systematize it.
Systematize the latte art.
Well, maybe not the latte art itself, but everything else that goes into creating that experience, like detailed training manuals for her baristas, a documented process for selecting and brewing the coffee, even a system for creating that warm, welcoming vibe in the cafe. She's capturing her expertise and making it replicable.
Oh, I see. So it's like making that business recipe book.
That's a great way to put it.
But I imagine some people would resist this, right? It sounds kind of tedious to have to document everything,
It can be. It's not the most glamorous part of running a business.
especially for people who are more doers than planners, you know? They just want to get their hands dirty and make the lattes.
Yeah, but documentation is key.
It is.
It creates clarity. It ensures consistency. If you can't articulate how your business works,
Yeah.
how can you expect anyone else to understand it?
That is a good point. It's like giving someone the ingredients for a cake,
Right.
but no recipe.
Exactly.
So, okay, we've busted the E-myth. We've looked at the stages of business growth.
Mhm.
We've talked about systems thinking.
Right.
What else does Gerber have in store for us?
Well, this is where it gets personal. Gerber wants us to think about our primary aim.
What's that?
It's basically the life you want to create.
Okay.
Because, business shouldn't be about sacrificing your life. It should be about building a life you love.
I mean, that sounds great.
It does.
So how does that tie in with, like, all this other stuff about business?
Well, it's about aligning your business goals with your personal aspirations. Your business should serve your life.
Not the other way around.
Exactly.
I like that. So our barista, for instance, she needs to ask herself what kind of life she actually wants.
Right. What does her ideal life look like?
And then see if her cafe can, like, help her achieve that.
Exactly. Does she want financial freedom? Does she want creative expression? Does she want to spend more time with her family?
Maybe all of the above.
Maybe. She needs to design her cafe model to support that vision.
So it's about being intentional
Yeah.
and designing a business that reflects your values.
Your values and priorities.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about the E-myth. We've talked about the stages of business, the need for systems, aligning your business with your life goals. But what about the actual, like, building of all those systems? Seems like it could be pretty overwhelming. Where do you even begin?
Well, that's where something comes in that a lot of people dread, the organizational chart.
Oh, org charts. I'll be honest.
They don't have the best reputation.
Not super fun and exciting.
No, they seem very corporate.
Very corporate.
But Gerber says even solopreneurs should embrace them.
Even if you're just a one-man show.
One-woman show.
Why? Why are they so
And
important?
they're like blueprints for growth. Even if you're the only employee right now, you can start mapping out the future structure of your business.
Okay, I'm listening. So how would that work for our barista, for example?
Well, let's say she dreams of having a head baker, a few skilled baristas, and a manager someday. She can create what Gerber calls position contracts for each of those roles, outlining their responsibilities, who they report to, and the standards they're held to.
So even though those positions don't exist yet,
Yeah, she's thinking ahead.
she's already defining what they'll do.
Creating clarity and accountability from the start.
Makes sense. So instead of just like scrambling to hire someone when she's already drowning in work,
Right.
she's thinking through all this in advance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint, the organizational chart.
Yep.
But what about the people who actually fill those roles?
Well, here's a concept that might surprise you. Gerber argues that managing people is a form of marketing.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I know, it sounds strange.
Those two things seem totally unrelated.
But think about it. How you treat your employees, the culture you create,
Yeah.
the level of autonomy and purpose you give them, it all affects the customer experience.
Okay. I can see that. Like, if your employees are happy and motivated,
Yeah.
they're going to provide better service.
Exactly.
And that's going to lead to, like, happy, loyal
It's
customer.
all connected.
It all comes back to that. Okay, so it's not just about hiring people with the right skills.
Yep.
It's about creating a whole people strategy.
A people strategy that goes beyond just filling positions. It's about investing in your team, giving them opportunities to grow and learn.
Empowering them.
Exactly. Imagine if our barista empowers her head baker to experiment with new flavors and create seasonal specials.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Not only would the baker feel more valued,
Mm-hmm.
but the customers would get to enjoy some exciting new treats.
That's a win-win. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about the E-Myth, the stages of business growth,
Right.
the importance of systems, personal fulfillment,
Yeah.
and even building a strong team.
It's all coming together.
It is. But before we move on, I want to touch on one more thing that Gerber highlights
Yeah.
as essential for building a successful business.
What's that?
Understanding your customer.
Yes. The customer. We can't forget about the customer.
It's easy to get so caught up in all the other stuff.
All the systems and processes.
Yeah, the internal stuff.
That we forget about the people we're actually serving.
Right. We forget about the people who are actually paying for all of this.
Exactly.
So what does Gerber say about that?
He says understanding your customer is crucial, and it goes deeper than just knowing their demographics.
Their demographics,
You
like
know-
their age and their location.
Yeah, like their age, location, income level. That's all important, but it's not enough.
What else is there?
You got to go deeper. You got to get into psychographics.
Psychographics, what's that?
That's where you understand the why behind customer behavior. What are their motivations, their values, their aspirations, even their pain points?
Oh, I see. So for our barista,
Mm-hmm.
it's not enough to know that her target market is, say, women aged 25 to 35.
Right.
She needs to know what makes them tick, what are their daily routines, their challenges, what are they looking for in a cafe experience.
Exactly. Are they busy professionals grabbing a quick coffee on their way to work? Are they students looking for a quiet place to study? Are they young parents desperate for a moment of peace and quiet?
I can see that being really valuable information.
It is. It helps you tailor your offerings to their specific needs and desires.
So how do you gather this psychographic information? You need, like, a fancy market research team.
Not necessarily. There are simple and creative ways to get insights from your customers.
Like what?
Our barista could offer a free cookie in exchange for filling out a quick survey.
Oh, that's clever.
She could ask them about their coffee preferences, their favorite treats, what they love about her cafe, or she could even host a small focus group and get direct feedback on new menu ideas.
I love those ideas. They're so simple, but so effective.
It's all about being curious and engaging with your customers, make them feel heard and valued.
And in the process, you get valuable insights that can help you make better decisions for your business.
It's a win-win, and it leads to what Gerber calls scientific marketing.
Scientific marketing, what's that?
It's about moving away from assumptions and gut feelings and making decisions based on data.
Oh, okay, so it's about gathering evidence and using that information to guide your marketing strategies.
Your pricing strategies, your product development.
Data-driven decisions, so you're not just guessing, you're actually looking at the numbers.
You're looking at the numbers, you're listening to your customers, and you're using that information to make smarter choices. And this applies to every part of your business.
Every single part.
Whether you're testing out a new marketing campaign or tweaking your pricing, track the results, analyze the data, and then make adjustments. It's about constantly experimenting and refining.
So you're taking the guesswork out of it.
As much as possible. It's about being strategic and data-driven.
Okay, so we've got systems, people management, customer research, data analysis, and I have to say, this is starting to sound a little overwhelming.
It can be a lot to take in, but that's where Gerber's concept of a system strategy comes in. He reminds us that all these aspects of your business are interconnected. They all influence each other.
So you can't just focus on one area in isolation.
You can't. You have to think about how your decisions in one area will impact the others.
Okay, I'm starting to see the big picture here. So can you break down this system strategy for me?
Sure. Gerber says there are 3 types of systems in any business: hard systems, soft systems, and information systems.
All right, let's unpack that a little bit. What are hard systems?
Hard systems are all the tangible things in your business: your
Yeah.
equipment, your technology, your physical space. For our barista, this would be her espresso machine,
Okay.
her coffee grinder, the layout of her cafe, the furniture, the lighting, all that stuff.
So it's all the physical stuff.
The stuff you can touch and see.
Okay, what about soft systems?
Soft systems are the intangible elements, things like your company culture, your values, your customer service philosophy, your brand identity. It's what creates the feel of your business.
The vibe.
The vibe, yeah. So for our barista, her soft systems might be her commitment to ethically sourced coffee beans, her passion for fostering community among her customers, the friendly and welcoming atmosphere of her cafe.
So these are the things that differentiate her cafe from all the other cafes.
Exactly. It's what makes her unique. And then we have information systems.
Information systems, so what are those?
These are the systems you use to gather and use data. Think of things like sales figures, customer feedback, social media engagement, website analytics, employee performance reviews. It's all about using information to make better decisions.
Okay, I see. So it's about tracking the numbers and using those insights to guide your strategy.
Exactly. And the key takeaway here is that all three of these systems are interconnected.
Okay.
You can't make a change to one without considering the impact on the others.
Give me an example of that. How would this play out in our barista's business?
Sure. Let's say she decides to invest in a brand new, state-of-the-art espresso machine.
Okay, fancy.
That's a change to her hard systems, right? It's a new piece of equipment. But it also affects her soft systems because her baristas might need additional training to learn how to use the new machine.
Right, which could impact their confidence and their efficiency.
Exactly. And it also affects her information systems because she needs to track how this new machine impacts sales, customer satisfaction, all of that.
That's really interesting. So it's like a chain reaction almost. You make one change, and it has this ripple effect throughout the entire business.
It does. It's all connected. That's why it's so important to think about your business holistically.
Not just making isolated changes here and there.
You gotta think about the big picture. And that brings us to Gerber's final key takeaway: continuous business development.
Continuous business development. So it's not like you build a business and then you're done.
Nope. It's an ongoing process of learning and adapting and evolving.
So you're never really finished.
You're never finished. There's always room for improvement.
So what are the key elements of this continuous development thing?
Well, remember those three concepts we talked about earlier? Innovation, quantification, and orchestration?
Oh yeah, I remember those. Innovation is about finding new and better ways to do things.
Right.
Quantification is about measuring the results of your efforts.
Mm-hmm.
And orchestration is about bringing it all together, making sure all those systems and strategies are working in harmony.
You got it. And it's a continuous cycle. You innovate, you quantify, you orchestrate, and then you do it all over again. It's about constantly refining your business and making it better.
So you're always looking for ways to improve.
Always. You're always sharpening the axe.
I like that.
It's what keeps your business lean, mean, and ready to tackle any challenge that comes your way.
I can see how that would be crucial for long-term success.
It is. It's about building a business that's not just successful, but also sustainable.
A business that can stand the test of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all aiming for, right?
Absolutely. But I have to be honest, all this talk about systems and processes and data analysis, it can feel a little overwhelming, especially for someone who's just starting out.
It's a lot to take in. But remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
That's a good point. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. Just focus on one small improvement at a time.
So what's one action step our listener can take right now to start implementing these concepts?
Think about all the systems we've discussed. The hard systems, the soft systems, the information systems. Choose one system that you can improve or document right now.
So something small and manageable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's creating a checklist for opening and closing your shop, or documenting your customer service protocol, or setting up a simple system for tracking your expenses.
Those are all great ideas. Small steps lead to big results.
They do. And as you gain more experience and confidence, you can start tackling bigger challenges.
So it's a journey.
It's a journey, and it's one that's full of learning and growth.
This has been such an insightful exploration of the E-Myth Revisited. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of the wisdom contained in this book.
There's so much to unpack. It's a classic for a reason.
It really is. But before we move on to the next part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a question to ponder.
I love a good question. Hit me with it.
Think about all the systems we've discussed. What's one system in your business or your future business that you can improve or document right now?
That's a great question to reflect on. And remember, even small tweaks can make a big difference over time.
We'll be back soon with the next part of our deep dive into the E-Myth Revisited. where we'll continue to explore these powerful concepts and give you even more actionable steps to turn these insights into reality.
Until then, keep those entrepreneurial spirits ignited.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya! It's like we get so focused on building the perfect mousetrap that we forget about the mouse.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's so easy to get caught up in like making our product or service perfect. We
Yeah.
kind of forget.
Who are we making it for?
Yeah, like who are we actually serving here? What do they want? What are their needs?
And that's where understanding your customer comes in. Gerber talks about going beyond demographics
Mm-hmm.
and getting into psychographics,
Psychographic. So not just their age, location,
not just the basic stuff.
income level, all that.
It's about understanding the why. Why do they buy? What are their motivations, values, aspirations? What are their pain points?
Okay, so for our barista, it's not enough to know that her target market is women aged 25 to 75.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to know, like, what their day-to-day life is like.
Right.
What are their challenges? What are they looking for in a cafe experience?
Exactly. Maybe they're busy professionals who need a quick caffeine fix on their way to work.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they're stay-at-home parents looking for a place to connect with other adults while their kids enjoy a pastry.
Right, because that's a totally different vibe.
Totally different. And understanding these psychographics can help her tailor everything.
Yeah.
Her offerings, her marketing messages, even the atmosphere of her cafe to really resonate with those ideal customers.
So she's not just speaking to their wallets, she's speaking to their, like, hearts and minds.
Exactly. She's connecting with them on a deeper level.
And I imagine that even small businesses with limited resources can gather these insights. You don't necessarily need like a big market research team.
Not at all. There are simple, creative ways to tap into your customers' minds.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Our barista could offer a free cookie in exchange for filling out a quick survey.
Oh, I like that. Bribery.
A little incentive never hurts. Ask them about their coffee preferences, their favorite treats, what they love about her cafe.
Okay.
Or she could even host a small focus group, get some direct feedback on new menu ideas, or maybe some potential changes to the cafe's layout.
I love those ideas. They're so simple, but they can be really valuable.
And it's a win-win. The customers feel heard and valued,
Yeah.
and the barista gets valuable insights that can help her make better decisions about her business.
Right. So she's not just guessing. She's getting real feedback. And that actually reminds me of something Gerber talks about, scientific marketing.
Ah, yes. Scientific marketing, it's all about moving away from assumptions
Yeah.
and gut feelings and making decisions based on data.
So instead of just like winging it, you're actually looking at the numbers. You're looking at like what's working, what's not working.
Exactly. You're gathering evidence and using that to guide your strategies, whether it's your marketing, your pricing, your product development. You're looking at the data and making adjustments based on what you learn.
Well, it's about being more strategic and less like emotional about it.
In a way, yes. It's about taking a more data-driven approach.
Okay, I can see how that would be helpful. But we've talked about systems, people management, customer research, data analysis. It's a lot. How do you keep it all straight?
That's where Gerber's concept of a system strategy comes in. He reminds us that all these aspects of your business are interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
He breaks it down into 3 categories: hard systems, soft systems, and information systems.
Okay, let's break those down. Hard systems, what are those?
Those are the tangible elements of your business: your equipment, your technology, your physical space.
So like for our barista,
For our barista, it would be her espresso machine, her coffee grinder, the layout of her cafe, the furniture, the lighting, all the physical stuff.
okay, so that's all the stuff you can see and touch. What about soft systems? What are those?
Those are the less tangible elements: your company culture, your values, your customer service philosophy, your brand identity. They create the feel of your business, the vibe.
Okay, so for the barista,
It might be her commitment to ethically sourced coffee beans, her passion for fostering a sense of community among her customers, or the friendly, welcoming atmosphere of her cafe.
I see. So these are the things that make her cafe special.
Exactly. It's what sets her apart from the competition. And then finally, we have information systems.
Information systems. What falls into that category?
Think about your sales figures, customer feedback, social media engagement, website analytics. It's all about gathering and using data to make informed decisions.
Okay, so it's about tracking the numbers and using those insights to improve your business.
Exactly. And the important thing to remember here is that all 3 of these systems, hard, soft, and information, they're all interconnected. Meaning, you can't make changes to one without considering the impact on the others.
Okay, can you give me an example of how that might play out in the barista's business?
Sure. Let's say she decides to invest in a brand new state-of-the-art espresso machine.
Okay.
Fancy, right. That's a change to her hard systems. But it also affects her soft systems because now her baristas might need additional training to learn how to use the new machine. And it affects her information systems because now she needs to track how this new machine is impacting her sales, customer satisfaction, all of that.
Right, because it's a big investment.
It is, and she wants to make sure it's paying off.
So it's like a domino effect almost.
It is. You make one change and it ripples through the entire business.
That's why it's so important to think about the big picture, right?
Absolutely. You can't just focus on one area in isolation. You have to think about how everything is connected.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense. So what's the next step? Where do we go from here?
Well, Gerber's final key takeaway is the concept of continuous business development.
Continuous business development. So it's not like you build a business and then you're done.
Nope. It's an ongoing process. You're always learning, adapting, evolving.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And there are three key elements to this continuous development: innovation, quantification, and orchestration.
Right, we talked about those earlier. Innovation is about finding new and better ways to do things. Quantification is about measuring the results of your efforts. And orchestration is about making sure all your systems and strategies are working together smoothly.
You got it. And you just keep cycling through those three elements.
Yeah.
Innovate, quantify, orchestrate, and then do it all over again.
So it's like a continuous improvement loop.
Exactly. You're always looking for ways to make your business better. You're always sharpening the axe.
I like that analogy. Keep sharpening the axe. So even when things are going well, you're still looking for ways to improve.
Always. Complacency is the enemy of progress.
That's a good quote. I'm going to write that down. Complacency is the enemy of progress. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but where do you even begin?
Start by identifying one small area where you can make a change. Maybe it's documenting a key process, or conducting a mini customer survey, or taking a closer look at your sales data.
So something small and manageable.
Exactly. You don't have to do everything at once. Just pick one thing and focus on that.
Okay, that seems doable. But what if you're feeling stuck? What if you don't know where to start?
Think about the three systems we've been talking about: hard systems, soft systems, and information systems. Is there one area where you feel like you could be doing better? Maybe your equipment is outdated, or your customer service could use some work, or you're not really tracking your numbers effectively.
Those are all good points to consider. And I guess it's about finding the area that's going to have the biggest impact.
Exactly. Focus on the area where you can get the most bang for your buck.
I like that. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this section.
We have.
We've talked about understanding your customer, the importance of data-driven decision-making, and this concept of a system strategy. It's a lot to take in, but I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
They do. It's all interconnected.
And it's all about building a business that works for you, not the other way around.
Exactly. That's the ultimate goal.
Before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Okay, hit me with it.
Think about your business or your future business. What's one system, whether it's a hard system, a soft system, or an information system, that you can improve or document right now?
That's a great question to reflect on. And remember, even small changes can make a big difference over time.
We'll be back soon with the final part of our deep dive into the E-Myth Revisited, where we'll wrap up all these key takeaways and give you some actionable steps to turn these insights into reality.
Until then, keep those entrepreneurial wheels turning.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the E-Myth Revisited.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has, and we've uncovered so many great insights for building a business that actually works.
Not just working in a business, but working on it.
That's the key, right?
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's like the biggest takeaway? What's that one thing our listeners should remember?
For me, it's the importance of shifting your mindset from working in your business to working on your business.
It's easy to get caught up in those day-to-day tasks.
Oh, yeah. Answering emails, fulfilling orders, putting out fires.
You're so busy chopping wood, you forget to sharpen the axe.
Exactly. Gerber wants us to think like franchise owners.
Even if you're not planning to franchise your business.
Right. Create systems and processes that can run smoothly, even without you managing every detail.
So your business works for you.
Not the other way around.
And a big part of that is documentation.
Oh, documentation is key.
I know it's not the most exciting thing,
It's not glamorous.
but it's so important for consistency, right?
Quality.
Quality control, and it empowers your team, right?
Exactly. It's like having a recipe for success. Anyone can follow the steps and get the desired outcome.
Now, another key takeaway that we touch on is understanding your customer,
Absolutely. Don't make assumptions. Really get to know who you're serving.
because it's not enough to just know their demographics.
Right. Age, location, all that.
You have to understand their psychographics, right?
Exactly. The why behind their behavior, their motivations, values, pain points.
So if you're our ambitious barista, you need to know if those 25 to 35-year-old women are busy professionals or students or stay-at-home parents, because that's going to shape their entire cafe experience.
It will. And it'll help her tailor her offerings to meet their specific needs.
Now, I have a question. We've talked a lot about systems, processes, documentation.
Yeah.
Does all that structure stifle creativity?
That's a great question. And it's a common misconception that systems and creativity are at odds with each other.
So you're saying they can actually work together?
Absolutely. Having strong systems in place can actually free up your mind to be more creative.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. If you're constantly putting out fires, reacting to emergencies, how much mental space do you have left for brainstorming new ideas?
Not much. You're in survival mode.
Exactly. But if you have systems to handle those routine tasks, manage your finances, ensure quality control,
You can actually relax a little?
you can relax, you can think big picture. That's where innovation thrives.
So systems actually create space for creativity.
They provide a solid foundation. It's like having a stable canvas to paint your masterpiece on.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Gerber's concept of continuous business development.
Remember those three elements: innovation, quantification, and orchestration.
Innovation, finding new and better ways to do things. Quantification, measuring the results. And orchestration, bringing it all together.
It's a continuous cycle of improvement. You're always looking for ways to sharpen the axe.
So entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's about building a business that not only thrives, but also brings you fulfillment.
Exactly. It should be a journey you enjoy.
So to wrap up this deep dive, what's one action step our listener can take right now to start implementing these concepts?
Think about all the systems we've discussed. Choose one system that you can improve or document right now. Maybe it's creating a checklist for opening and closing your shop,
Or documenting your customer service process.
or setting up a system for tracking your expenses. Start small.
Even small changes can have a big impact over time.
They can. It's all about taking those first steps.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the E-Myth Revisited. It's a book that's packed with wisdom for any entrepreneur.
It's a must-read for anyone who dreams of building a business that works.
And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.
Enjoy the ride.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time.
See you later.